Buenos días, buenas tardes ya a todos. Quiero agradecer a nuestros amigos de la NAWAC, Paco Madrid y a todo el cuerpo de turismo dentro de la universidad por esta cálida bienvenida y por haberme invitado a participar, a nuestros amigos también de la OMT. Para mí es un honor estar compartiendo con ustedes este día en este tema que nos apasiona, que es el turismo. I wanted to make a comment about this presentation we saw on the brand USA. I think the most brilliant move that campaign did was they take ownership of the brand America without paying any royalties to Christopher Columbus or to any of the other countries in America. And that was amazing how now America is considered the US. But anyway, it works certainly. Innovation can be described as many ways, obviously as simple as basic of just finding a new way to do something. But also innovation is a process of transforming something, any type of good or service, into something that creates value to the consumer, in which the consumer is willing to pay for. And the innovation is not just about technology. Arnie described some great ways of the technology using on when it's called innovation. But basically, innovation, it really becomes innovation once we put that idea into place, and taking the risk to put those best ideas in place, that's what we call innovation. And that's what our company, it's been pretty much based on. That's what our company has done. Different ways that create direct value to the consumer, and the consumer is willing to pay for. So, reinventing the industry, we claimed that we were one of the key players to reinvent the industry, particularly in the leisure side and in the all-inclusive. And when it comes to Mexico, I just want to go quickly through some of the basic advantage of the attributes that Mexico has. We basically took those attributes that Mexico has naturally at the most competitive edge against other destinations, like the great beaches, obviously the weather, the affordable labor, the trained personnel, the service culture that all Mexicans have for tourism, and obviously the proximity to the US and Canada, which is the strongest business in the world, and obviously needless to say about the great culture and cuisine and history and music that this country has. So obviously we took that was already there for us and try to make the most out of it, particularly focus in the US market. These are just to put everything in context, some of the figures of the latest numbers on the rankings on tourism. And this is ranking in terms of arrivals, which not necessarily is the best way to measure how successful the country is, the tourism is for a certain country, because this doesn't measure revenues. But as you can see, these are the top 10 countries. And at this moment in Mexico, these are 2012 figures. I don't have 13. 13 numbers are a little bit better. But Mexico is still between 13 and 14th place when it comes to ranking of visitors. But what we have to focus is on the size of the opportunity. The tourism in general has grown. As you can see, the average here is 4.1% a year. And so Mexico has grown below the average, but certainly way below some of what other countries have grown, particularly some of these top 10. So what we have to focus is pretty much in the great news, which is how big and how tremendous is the opportunity for us to grow and become a much more important player in tourism. So innovation, as I said, was one of our principles, trying to transform something that already existed, but it wasn't the best value proposition that we saw, particularly for certain customer. We chose from day one not to try to be the best for everybody, but to be the best for some. And in this case, what we basically did on our value proposition is that we brought value, entertainment, convenience, and fun to the luxury experiences, EP, non-all-inclusive experiences that were already in the market. Most of them beautiful but boring. So we brought that part to the luxury experience, but we also brought quality and alternatives and choices and freedom to those inexpensive experiences that were already in the market on the business, on the all-inclusive model. And we also were very focused on the US market. The all-inclusive product back then when we started the hotel company AMRESORTS was pretty much based on the European customer. we kind of Americanized the product. We customized the product to the US market, and we also customized the marketing. So we basically went from a traditional all-inclusive, which had always the perception of being a product that it was cheap. It was convenient because it was cheap, but it was pretty much based on all buffet, very limited a la carte services, the use of wristbands, and all additional amenities like minibar, room service. It always came to an extra cost. We took the attributes that we had on our brands, having great hotels in great locations, but also added some of the unique attributes that we had on our brands that nobody else had at the time, like no wristbands, or limited international premium brands, the gourmet, all a la carte restaurants without needing to make a reservation, 24 hours room service, minibar, waiting staff at the pool and the beach, and world-class spas that they were not in the market back then. So that's when we not only had to change the perception of the all-inclusive concept in the world, but we also had to change the name of it. So we went from all-inclusive to unlimited luxury, and that's when we introduced a lot of these new concepts within the unlimited luxury, the package ingredients that they were not available for the consumer before. We deliver it and we execute a very tailor-made for the American customer, and so we were able to deliver a great value proposition that the American immediately recognized and started to pay out. As a result of that, I think we went trendsetters in a way that a lot of companies have following the model, and they executing in a great way. And I think it's good for the industry. Now we have a lot stronger and more professional competitors in this field, which is the all-inclusive space. The other innovative thing that we have done in the company since the beginning, is that we were able to capitalize on the crisis. Every time we had a crisis, we took risks, and we introduced innovating concepts and innovating marketing around the crisis, and we took great advantage of those crises. Actually, our growth over the years is being a lot more significant during the crisis time than during the stable times. Every single one of our hotel brands, it's a result of a clear opportunity. In the case of Sunscape, which was our first brand, that was a result of the crisis of 9/11. After 9/11, there was a lot of product that was clearly underperforming, and we found the opportunity to take those properties, convert them into our concept, use some of the distribution that we had in the group, make it a hassle-free and safe place for the American market, and a very convenient. And we actually became the American alternative to travel as an all-inclusive basis for that segment. As a result of that, we led into the way to other companies to start doing things following this business model. Now it's very common to find minibars or a la carte options in other restaurants, but it was new for the industry back then when we started. Some of them looked at us like we were crazy with some of the things that we were implementing. Then the other opportunity that we found was launching the brand Secret. Secret is an adults-only brand, and we were the only adults-only hotels in the Spanish-speaking Caribbean and Mexico. And the uniqueness of our value proposition was that it was not couples only, as some of the other products they were already present, particularly in Jamaica. But in our case, it was not couples only, so it was a great niche for weddings, for single occupancies, for same-sex occupancies, and for large groups. To package all this experience at the luxury level and with a very romantic touch. The most important brand attribute for the Secrets Hotel is romanticism. And again, being trendsetters, as a result of that, we saw a lot of new competitors coming in doing the same and execute in a very good way. Now it's common to find the swim-out suites that we implement the first swim-out suites in Mexico and the Caribbean, the pool and bar service, a lot less restrictions and more variety and more gourmet food on the restaurants. And now it's very common to find the presence of adults-only luxury products in Mexico and the Caribbean as a result of that. The next brand that we introduced was Dreams, and basically with Dreams we found the opportunity to convert those very loyal and satisfied customers for the Secrets brand into bringing their families. So it was a choice for them to bring their families, but without sacrificing the luxury and the comfort that they found at the Secrets brand. Pretty much back then, all of the family products in the all-inclusive space were not at the luxury level. So we introduced this brand, we capitalized on our own loyal customers, and it took off very rapidly. And as a result of that, also, that led the way to other competitors to start doing more extended hours on their kids' clubs, having room service as part of the options, increment the number of items on the menu, no reservations required in the restaurants, etc. So all those things that we innovated 10, 12, 9 years ago, now it's a common practice for some of the competitors. So we always have to stay one step ahead and trying to innovate with new products. And Zoetry, Zoe means life, Zoetry is the art of life. They're boutique hotels, very, very high-end, and it was also a result of a crisis. And Zoetry is a great example of the innovative things. We don't have that many competitors on this niche. During the real estate crisis, there were a lot of hotels that were left alone. There were outstanding products, but they were half empty, and the owners were losing a lot of money because this was a real estate play. The core was to sell real estate. When the real estate crisis came down, they ended up with these gorgeous hotels, but without finding a way to make them profitable. But at the same time, because of the crisis, we found a consumer that was feeling guilty about the superficial luxury. And we saw a decline in a lot of luxury products that had no meaning behind it. And we also saw a green movement in the world. We saw people a lot more conscious, particularly on the high end, about environment issues and about wellness. So we launched this brand, Zoetry Wellness and Spa Resorts, very focused on environmental friendly issues, helping the communities, and also wellness. There were some of the products doing that type of experience, but not at a luxury level. We were able to deliver this type of product, but at a 5-diamond type of standards. They're all under 100 rooms hotels, and that's doing very successfully, very niche, but again, a result of innovating something new in response to a crisis. For the brand Zoetry, we went from unlimited luxury to endless privileges because we added additional services for this brand, like just to mention some, we added the Bulgari bath amenities. We have unlimited internet and access and worldwide phone calls. You can call from any phone in any place in the hotel, anywhere in the world for as long as you want. We added gourmet dinings with organic choices. We had private transfers. Laundry is included. So we kind of went one step ahead, and we found a solution for that opportunity, which was turn around those hotels that were losing money to make them make money. Then also a result of a crisis, we launched the brand Now Resorts. Because of the crisis, and particularly in the US, we found that the consumer was looking to travel for a shorter length of stay. So they wanted to have a more intense experience, living the moment during the same, and as intense as possible, but in a short length of stay. That's what we came with Now, living the moment, living the now. That's the meaning of this brand. But we particularly focus on the teen market. A lot of people were very family-oriented, and then there was new players coming to the adults only, but we kind of forgot about all the teenagers, which was kind of like a different species. And so with the brand Now, we became a lot stronger value proposition for the teenagers or for families with teenagers. And that worked pretty well. And then our latest brand is Breadless. Breadless, it's also a result of a change in the consumer trends. We saw that how the consumer is behaving, the households, a lot of single households, a lot of more than 50% of the population now, it's either living by themselves or living divorced or cohabitating without necessarily being married. The need of people to travel in the adult-only environment, but looking for socializing, traveling in groups, and more focusing in sensuality and fun than necessarily in romance, as we did on the Secrets brand. And right now, we're the only brand on this niche, and I can guarantee you that soon we will see other brands trying to go or going after this strategy as well. But so far, so good. We already opened our first Breadless in Punta Cana. We have the construction of the second one in Mexico, in Riviera Cancun, and we have 2 more projects coming under this brand. So part of the innovation and the core ingredients for our success and the rapid growth on the hotel side was our ability to create new brands that had a specific value proposition and a clear one to a specific type of customer, and have a multi-brands in fewer locations. Other hotel chains chose to have one brand in multi-destinations and try to offer the same thing for everybody, same type of experience for everybody in different locations. We rather to compete where we have competitive advantages in destinations where we already have strong distribution, we have know-how, and we have tremendous synergies because we have the economy of scale. So we went for the strategy of multi-brand in fewer destinations rather than one brand in multiple destinations. And that paid out very well so far. In AMRESORTS, we claim to be reinventing also on the sales and marketing side. Sales and marketing was obviously hand-to-hand with the product, and we have some innovative initiatives. We basically start to customize the marketing. We extensively started using the social media before anybody else, and we did not pretend, again, being everything for everybody. We did not send the same message to all customers, but we try to customize that marketing based on the preferences and lifestyles of the specific consumers. And as a result of that, we won a lot of awards in between 2011 and 2013, more than 20 awards, very prestigious awards on the marketing side that goes hand to hand. But also on the marketing side, but very linked to the product, we launched the now viral campaign. Within a week, we had more than 1 million hits, and it was you could find it on YouTube. But it's a viral campaign about a family traveling to Now Resort, and it went big. Now we're about 2.5 million hits and created a lot of new reservations and loyalty and comments around the net. And it was very inexpensive, and we've been in the air for less than a month. We're already 2.4 million hits. Then on the product side, also very linked to marketing, we launched the Unlimited Connectivity product. And the Unlimited Connectivity product is a mix of, yes, the technology, but also the marketing and the way we present the value proposition to the consumer. This is a product that it's a mobile app that any one of our guests who come to any mobile or smartphone, sometimes not so smart, especially when they go to the spell check, but anyway, the iPhones or Androids or Blackberries, and you download that application once you're in the hotel, and you're able to use, obviously, the internet for free, all access. You can do the WhatsApp or texting, everything for free. No roaming charges to anybody. So all of the tourists that comes to our hotels, they don't have to pay any roaming charges. And they have international free long distance. But most importantly, once the guest register and download the application, we have all the information about that guest. Way more than the information we used to have about our guests through the travel agent or directly on the registration at the check-in. So now it became a two-way street. So the customer can make a reservation in the spa, can order room service on the beach from their smartphone, can look at the wine list on their own smartphone while they're in the restaurant. But we can also talk to the customer and say, you know what, it's about to rain. Why don't you make an appointment on the spa right now? Or the party that we had planned for tonight in this place, now it's going to be moved to X place, etc. We can make these promotions and this direct communication with the consumer by name, one-to-one, and every one of our hotels. So that was one of the very successful initiatives that we had. And then we also, on the product side, we launched an initiative of a product called Sip, Savor, and See, which is a dine-around program. Once you stay, because we have multi-brands in fewer destinations, we have destinations like Cancun, Riviera Maya, where we have 13 hotels within that destination. So we offer to our guests that stay in one hotel, a 400-room hotel, for example, with 7 or 8 restaurants. We offer them to go end up dining with 30 or 40 different restaurants. But we also were innovative in when it comes to doing the crisis management in different occasions. A clear example was what happened in Mexico in 2009. That was devastating for the tourism industry because of the influenza, the H1N1 pandemic virus back in 2009. We took advantage of the opportunity that we had there. Of course, everybody was struggling, but we came up and we developed credibility, not only by openly saying the right thing to say, but also what it was true. So we took the risk, we launched this flu-free guarantee, and within 3 weeks, we had more than 240 million impressions We were at no cost to us. We paid nothing. We were present in the New York Times, Fox News, CNN, USA Today, and all that. As a result of that, we not only help our company, we help Mexico. A lot of people follow us on that example. But it was one way to take a crisis in an innovative way, take the risk, implement the idea, and move forward, and it paid out very well. Then as a group, on Apple Leisure Group, we are the largest consumer of tourism products on the leisure space in Mexico. Nobody sends more passengers to Mexico than our group. But we also have the hotel side, and we also have the destination management company. And so part of the, we claim that we're reinventing the business by being the only vertically integrated group for leisure in the United States. Mexico being our number one product, where we have the travel agents, we have our own flights, we have the transfers, we have the hotels, we have the excursions, so we can really deliver the overall vacation experience to the guest in a vertically integrated way, we represent tremendous value proposition to the guest and gives them comfort and the level of security and loyalty to the customers. There's other companies have done that in Europe in a different model, such as TUI, which is a huge tourism conglomerate in Europe, but there was no one really in the US with a vertical integration. These companies are Apple Vacations, which is the largest tour operator to Mexico and the Caribbean, Mexico and Dominican Republic in the world. Then we also have Travel Impressions, which is also a very large tour operator, but it focuses on the luxury vacation. It's the highest vacation ticket to Mexico coming from the United States, comes through Travel Impressions. It's all sold, 100% sold through travel agents, so it's a B2B business model. And we also have Chip Caribbean, which is an OTA. It's a B2C, it's all directly to the consumer, which is a value proposition that only sells Mexico and the Caribbean. About 45% of the business is Mexico. So we're also looking to different, not just different products, but also different distribution and ways to communicate and get closer to the consumer. And then AMRESORTS on the hotel side. Right now we have 39 hotels under development. We have about 34 already open, and we're going to be about 15,000 rooms. That already makes us the largest resort company in Mexico and the Caribbean. We have more than 20,000 employees on that company. Then we have Amstar, which is a destination management company, which has presence in most of the beach destinations, and that focuses on all of the excursions and the sightseeing that all of the passengers have to see once in destination. And then we have the UVC, which is a loyalty program. We have more than 30,000 members already in the program that are paying big dollars for their loyalty, and they come to us every year. So the way it works, pretty much, we have the distribution companies that are the main supplier of passengers to our destination management company, Amstar, but also to our own hotels. But we also have Amstar and AMRESORTS with a direct communication among them by having Amstar being the provider of services to AMRESORTS, and by having AMRESORTS have the exclusive arrangement with Amstar in order to provide all of the group services, transportation, etc. The Unlimited Vacation Club, again, we have more than 30,000 loyal members right now. They pay an average of $13,000 to become a member, so this is not like a loyalty program that most airlines or hotel companies have. The customers pay for the loyalty and in order to enjoy these benefits, and that makes them even more loyal. So again, I'm going to skip this one. On AMRESORTS, particularly on the hotel side, we are constantly reinventing the future, but also in the distribution, we're finding ways to get closer to the consumer, use the technology. But again, innovation is not just about using the latest technology, but it's actually come up with the idea that represents value to the consumer, take the risk, implement it, and then it will really pay off. And that's what we have done so far. So thanks very much.